So my friend Chilufya Tayali, it's a very good friend of mine, you know. I love him, not because of anything. I just love him. I may not agree with him on so many things, but when I look at him, I see somebody that has a bright future. Just that he needs to be patient with money. Money is good, but don't sell your birthright because of money. You can do any other thing that you want to make money, but don't sell your birthright because of money. Money is good. Money is powerful. Everybody wants money. Everybody needs money. But don't sell your birthright because of money. Just because of pieces of money. The people that are making money in PF, the criminals, the cadres, they are making billions. You know, they don't even care. But when they give Chilufya Tayali just a little bit, a drop, if a bone remnant, he will start jumping up and down and start talking. When they were using you, Chilufya Tayali, when they were using you to attack HH, attack Chishimba Kambwe, attack other innocent people in Zambia, I warned you. I remember that video is still on my page. Those of you that doubt CR1, go and check it. I told you that I know PF. You don't know PF. I know PF. I know them spiritually. I know them physically. Everything about PF is written in my palm like this, that I don't need a spec to dictate. Was the way they are planning to rig election, which I'm not going to expose. Majority of the people that are watching me are from PF. Anytime I say something, they re-strategize. They change their strategy. So I have stopped hitting some of those things. I'm just waiting for them in August. We are going to see. But I know them. I know them like this in my palm. I hold them like this in my palm.
If you are joining me for the first time, please remember to click subscription button and hit that notification bell to be the first person to receive the video that will be produced by Davi-tech-media. Davi-tech-media, updating you. Davi-tech-media, subscribe to Davi-tech-media.
Thank you so much for joining us on the special assignment. Now, he was recently arrested for allegedly defaming President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and subsequently detained in police cell for more than 48 hours. Of his arrest, simply put, 8 days. The love story between him and the ruling Patriotic Front is seemingly collapsing and is at its lowest following his court appearance and release. My name is Kelvin Tabola Chifokolo. My guest tonight is President of the Economic and Equity Party, EEP, President Chilufya Tayali. Mr. President, good evening and welcome to the special assignment.
Good evening and thank you very much for inviting me. This is the first interview that I'm doing after my 8 days of torment in the hands of the Patriotic Front. So I really appreciate that you have given me this opportunity.
In case you've got a question to ask to my guest, the president of EEP, will be able to read through the comments as well as your questions that you might pose to President Chilufya Tayali. Like you've put it, that you were tormented. Kindly share with us the recent arrest, detention, court appearance, and finally the release. What was the mood? How was your experience when you spent 8 days away from home, away from your family, in custody? How was your experience?
My brother, it was really bad. I must say that this is not the first time that I have spent days in cells, but of all the times that I have been in the cells, I think this was the worst experience that I've ever had. Not because the police officers or the inmates were bad. It is the worst experience because I strongly believe that I didn't deserve to be in the cells. That's the first thing. I don't believe that I did anything that warranted me to be in the cells. What I said is the truth. And even those that put me in the cells know that I say the truth. The second part why I feel it was the worst moment is that whilst I feel that I didn't do anything wrong, and indeed I didn't do anything wrong, I was incarcerated by people that to me I consider very close friends. Very, very close friends, brothers and sisters, as we usually call each other. In the text messages, in the conversations that we usually have with a number of the PF leadership, we address ourselves, my brother, Munyina, my sister. I just never thought this would come from my brothers and sisters in PF, that they would, they just didn't incarcerate me. They were actually fighting to keep me there. They were actually fighting to torment me. The police cells were not that bad, but their actions were so bad that they were really pushing it. Number one, they clearly made it a point that they wanted me to be in there longer than I would want, than anybody would imagine. They had no intention. I'm out here not because the PF made a decision that let's release Chilufya Tayali because he has been there for long. No. They still wanted me inside. And then it was not enough for them, for me to be just inside. They still wanted to do other things to extend my pain. Like, for example, why would a Facebook post defaming the president extend to searching my house? Extend to searching my house, my office. And my friend, they turned upside down my house. I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. Their warrant said they were looking for documents, computers and other computer devices. They picked computers. They picked a phone of a poor maid in my house who looks after our baby. Because when we were walking into the house, I shouted to say, can you take the baby outside? Because I didn't want the baby to see me. The baby had not seen me for some days. And I'm sure if Kia had seen me, she would have been excited. And then to be seen surrounded by these police officers and to be taken away, I said, take the baby outside. She left the phone inside. They picked that phone. Up to now, it's not there.
When you say they wanted to keep you for more days, President Tayali, we have seen people that have complained in this country that they have been kept for long. For example, I know that the issue is in court. Former Minister Sejani and 4 others spent about 31 days. The president of RPP spent more than 15 days. Why is it that you expected your detention not to be longer when we have people that have been in cells for more than 48 days, more than 48 hours, brother?
To start with, I have never subscribed to keeping people longer than necessary in the cells, because actually cells are not places where people should stay longer. Unfortunately, this is happening. It's so rampant. Each time, you go into the cells, you find so many people that they are longer than they are supposed to be, because they are actually holding cells. It is just momentarily that you are there. You are either taken to court and you are given bail, or you are given bond. So I, for one, am against this tendency that seems to be becoming normal in this country. It is becoming normal in this country that people can stay in cells longer than they are supposed to, longer than the law prescribes. And yes, you are right. I can sit here and complain, but the poor people, my friend, a lot of them are there. I know even yesterday, because when I left yesterday, I still went to the cell, to see the young men that I left there. There are people who are in the cells for more than a month. And yes, you are right. You have spoken about Sejani and Chikusai, yes, Leslie Chikuse, and of course other people have been there longer than that. But that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. For anyone, it shouldn't be the case. It's wrong. And it is a pity that this is happening under the leadership of one who is a lawyer. Because President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is a lawyer. And a renowned lawyer for that matter, a senior lawyer for that matter. So these things should not be happening. And for me, why for me I feel so bad, it's the point that I've already spoken about. These are my friends. These are people who, let's just face it. When you know somebody, in my language, they say, Ichua chikuishibe, tachikuria chikupuishishisha. A ghost that knows you will not eat you and finish you. It will eat you but leave you a little bit. Now, this is not the case. Ichichua chanjikete. Tacharefo kumpuishishisha. It wanted to completely eliminate me as if I never existed.
Now that you've mentioned of Ichiwa, Friday night, you recounted that Siawan warned you that Chilufya Tayali, why are you allowing the Patriotic Front to use you? They'll use you and dump you like paper.
Yes.
And you said, now you believe that maybe that is one of the prophecies that Siawan has predicted and it has come to pass. Where are you getting this conviction to say, indeed, your Chiwa has used you and wanted to finish you?
It is very clear. This experience, what did I do? I didn't do anything. You defend the president. I didn't defend the president. And of course, I will not discuss that further,
yes,
other than saying what I pleaded, that I didn't. Because a plea, a not guilty plea, denying the charge was entered. So I'll go as far as that. But let's imagine, okay, let's just take it to say, these are my friends. And if indeed I did something wrong, if indeed, let's imagine I did even something wrong, as friends, I would have expected them to call me and talk to me. I am one of the persons that is so readily available for the PF. Readily available. They call me at any time. I have been woken up in the middle of the night at dawn 03:02. I have traversed this country in the night where there is something that has to be done, and they're like, you know what? this before dawn, this has to be done, or you have to be in another town. I have picked up a vehicle, and most of the times I don't even move with a driver or anything. I have driven all night without sleeping, reach another town and come back, you know, as if I never even went anywhere. And with this kind of relationship that I have with these people, surely I thought I would be treated better. But I was wrong. I was wrong. And yes, when Siawan said that, because I do actually listen to Siawan, and I mean, anyway, I'm a person that I don't just talk. I talk, but I also listen to others. So when you are having your interviews here, I also follow the interviews of other people. When other people go live, I also follow, whatever the discussions. Your breakfast, early in the morning, whenever you come up, I mean, it pops up on my phone, and I watch. So I watched Siawan, and I was thinking to say, I mean, this crazy guy is just talking, he's just talking anyhow. This can't happen. These are my friends. I'm sorry to say, but I was ready to do anything for President Edgar Lungu. I even put my life there to say, Edgar Lungu has to come back, and everything. I mean, that is the kind of person I used to take myself like, a defender, a staunch defender of President Edgar Lungu. But I can't think of any other person who would have the powers to command those police officers to treat me in the manner they did. I can't think of any other person apart from the head of state. I can't think of any other person because, even with the police, when they come to arrest you, or even when they're arresting a poor person, they have a conscience. Our police are very good, actually. They have a conscience. They are human beings. They are good. But there are times when they are told to say, treat that one accordingly. And you see them, swing into action like nobody. They don't laugh. People that people that even salute for you. Because for me, I'm taken like a government official. So you find that sometimes the police officers, they even salute for me. But those very police officers, they were so hard on me because somebody with powers, big powers, told them to fix Chilufya Tayali. That was very sad.
Again on Friday, you said you are disappointed with the past minister in charge of Home Affairs, Stephen Kampyongo. What is it that you wanted Stephen Kampyongo, Honorable, to do for you? What is it that you are expecting from him?
I have so much respect for Honorable Kampyongo. And I really hold him in high esteem as a Minister of Home Affairs.
Up to now, you're still holding him in high esteem.
I do.
Thank you.
I do. And I give that answer with, a little bit of a thought and giving a benefit of doubt on him. Though I can clearly say that he's a brother, but I don't know which word I can use in English. Where I come from, we would say Nicha Mwenso, Ali Kwato Mwenso. I don't know if am I allowed to use coward? He was scared, if I could put it that way.
Scared of what? Scared of who?
Scared of the president. Scared of State House.
Are you saying your incarceration was a directive from State House? For you to say he was scared of State House,
it can never be. It can never be. It can never be an instruction from anywhere else apart from State House. And I had a conversation with somebody during the day, and this person was trying to sort of like mediate. I don't know who, she was trying to, who had spoken to her, and she was trying to be bureaucratic. And I told this person, I said, you know, you are talking to a person that is part of the system. I may not be on government payroll, but I walk in the corridors of power. I know who is who. I can tell when something happened in the country. I can tell at which level the operation or the command is coming from. So this one could not have even come from Kampyongo. It was not Kampyongo. It was not Kampyongo, because I know how Kampyongo operates. Kampyongo, a number of times people think that he is that ruthless minister who just orders the police to do this and that. No, I worked with Kampyongo, I can assure you.
What can make the president to issue instructions to finish off somebody who has been defending the president, who has been woken up in the middle of the night, sent on a mission, ready to do anything and defend the president and make sure that President Edgar Lungu is retained? Why should President Edgar Lungu think of finishing this defender who is part of the system?
President Edgar Lungu has got one weakness, among others. He has got one weakness, and this weakness that he has is insecurity. And he believes what people around him tell him. The people around him tell him, particularly his political advisor. And he believes easily when they say something. And the weakness that is there is that he doesn't have the courage to face people. I have met a number of PF members, senior members, who have had issues with the president. And a lot of them, what they complain about is that Vakateka has not spoken to me. I wish Vakateka could speak to me. And once he hears something and he puts you on the left side, he even completely, alienates you. He ostracizes you. He cut you off. That it is difficult. There are even ministers. There are ministers, people think that, President Edgar Lungu is easy to see. No. There are actually ministers that find it difficult to see President Edgar Lungu. Yes, they would go to cabinet, they would go to State House. But it doesn't mean that they meet President Edgar Lungu. President Edgar Lungu meets who he wants to meet. He's available to who he wants to be available to. But those that he puts on the left side, it doesn't matter at which level you are, he would actually frustrate you. He's a silent killer. He's a silent tormentor. So you would be there and he would be tormenting you.
You've talked about the president having this weakness of insecurity. Are you saying the president is scared of you?
The president is not scared of me. But President Edgar Lungu has become so obsessed for power. And anything, it doesn't really mean that I know President Edgar Lungu knows that, I cannot win an election. Yes, there is this election, and I was willing to contest. I know.
For mayor, just contesting, not winning.
No, and I used to say that. And we used to talk about these things even among the senior members of the party. And they agreed that
senior members of EEP or senior members of PF?
Of PF, of course. I do report to my political party, and my members know exactly what was going on. But the very fact that you sort of is told that this person is moving away from the agenda of singing President Edgar Chagwa Lungu for 2021, the moment that is whispered in his ears, or the moment he feels that whatever you are doing threatens that, President Edgar Lungu will not spare you. And I knew this because I have seen how others have been treated. Most of the people who have faced the wrath of President Edgar Lungu, it's mostly because somebody has whispered in the ears of President Edgar Lungu that this person is after your position. But for me, I didn't want President Edgar Lungu to lose election in 2021. But one thing that I kept on insisting to everybody is that when something is wrong, I will speak out. I said that. I kept on, even in State House, I have said it. I've never hidden that for me, when something is wrong, I will speak out. And even what they are terming as defamation, it is something that I saw that it is wrong, and I spoke out. But somebody brought that to President Edgar Lungu, I'm sure, brought in a few other issues maybe, and that arsenal of, Amari was set on me to torment me and my family. What they wanted to achieve, most probably, is to keep me quiet. But that's not my nature. That's not Chilufya Tayali. I will die talking. I will not cower from talking. I will talk.
Do you regret to have been a hired gun for the Patriotic Front? You've talked about meetings that we're having as a president of a political party, but attending meetings of a different political party. Do you regret of having been a hired gun of the PF and a defender to His Excellency the President?
We need to put things in context. It's not so much attending meetings of PF. It's about the government. It's about the government. And look, we can be from different political parties, but we have to be patriotic. We have to be patriotic, and we have to defend the government. And we have to defend the institution of the presidency. It doesn't matter who is there. We have to defend that. And for me, I offered myself, I offered my service to defend the presidency. Of course, particularly in this case, President Edgar Lungu, because I thought this man is a good man. And so I offered myself to defend President Edgar Lungu. I was not so much of a hired gun as you would put it, in the context of doing wrong things. No. I can run you through what I did. There is nothing that I did which contravened my morals. Nothing. Nothing. Whatever I did, whatever I was involved in, it is because my moral conscience was clear that what I was doing is right. I was defending the presidency. I was defending my government. Yes, I was not a government official, but I was, if you like, a government operative, helping President Edgar Chagwa Lungu.
Do you regret?
I don't. I don't regret. It is the share, I don't know which word I can use, but the shame is on those who abused me, who think that, they could just use me and throw me like that. But for me, I still hold my head high that what I did for this country, what I did for President Edgar Lungu, I still hold my head high. And I would do it again if I need to. For example, there are some of the things that I used to do is to check what is being reported on President Edgar Lungu. This I did every day. Early in the morning, I would wake up, I would scan all the news, I would, listen to all the news, from this news to whatever, social media. I was always reading what they're saying about President Edgar Lungu. And when I find something that I feel this is putting the head of state in disrepute. If it is not true, I would immediately come in to defend President Edgar Lungu and put things, in the right context or in the right perspective. That I did. And I would do that even for President Hakainde Hichilema. If it happens that in the next elections he wins, I would still do that. But of course, you expect that, when you do these kind of things, you expect your friends to, reward you in a way, because you need to eat at the end of the day. You need to buy bundles and so on and so forth.
So that is work. After doing it, you have to be paid.
Absolutely.
And you were paid.
I wish I was paid. I wish I was paid. I really wish I was paid. Not that I got nothing completely. No. Time and again, one would give you a 5 pin. The most you would get is 10 pin. But that 10 pin would come after a long time, and when you are really desperate and you are busy calling somebody, please, 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 nafo ensala kuno. And maybe somebody will throw that. That was not respectful. And I did actually put these complaints to the authorities, including President Edgar Lungu, to say, look,
not
well, not that but when you say it is not a fixed. You are not on a salary. You are not on a salary. But you are doing something. You are helping out. And when you are helping out, you expect your friends to help you as well. And when they're not helping you, you can also complain to say, guys, something. Not papata, that's when you give something. So I like to be transparent. Yes, I helped President Edgar Lungu. Yes, once in a while I would get something. But it was not like what many people think, that, Tayali is bankrolled by the PF and so on. No. My budget, I sustain it. I sustain my budget. I look after my family using my businesses that I do. Of course, I must say that, some of the businesses, I get them also through the connections that I have with the PF. So somehow, even if you're not getting paid, the consolation that you get is that, okay, even if these guys, they are not giving you direct, but at least you are getting some business because of the connections that you have with them. So mostly, if there is a benefit that I got, is the business that I got, because, I'm able to say, hey, boss, this person is complaining. I run a consultancy company, and mostly the money that I make is helping people to, push for their payment, helping people to put up documents, the tender documents. This is what I do, and I charge on percentages. Mostly, that is the money that I get. But this business was really helped mostly by my connections with the people in government.
You talked about having a meeting also on Friday. You had a meeting, not on Friday, but before you were incarcerated. You had a meeting with Special Assistant to the President.
Yes.
In charge of politics.
Yes.
Chris Zuman.
Yes.
What was the agenda?
Look, like I said, that I have been defending President Edgar Lungu, the institution of the presidency. And mostly, because I'm in politics, and mostly we are looking at politics. So mostly, the office that I've been dealing with is the political office, which is Chris Zuma, who is in there. Before, it was Kaiza Zulu. Now Chris is there. So I've been dealing with Kaiza Zulu. And mostly, my nature of meetings, most of the times, is to clarify, to say, there is this. What is the situation? Can you try to ask the president, So mostly it is about making verification, or sometimes to say, oh, look, there is this issue. Can we see how we can handle it? So I used to meet Chris quite often. But you are asking about my last meeting. The last meeting that I had, basically we were discussing the elections, because I wanted to stand. I really wanted to stand in this election. So the agenda was really to discuss how can I participate in this election whilst supporting President Edgar Lungu. And this is the negotiations that has been going on. Which position should I take? Which position should I take? And my desire was to contest as president so that I can learn the ropes. You know, it's a procedure. For you to appear on a ballot, there is a procedure that precedes the elections. And I learned my lessons during when I wanted to stand as mayor, how I was cut out. And I know that 2026, I will win the presidency. So I wanted to learn the ropes now. So I was telling Chris to say, I want to contest as president, I want to learn, but along that, I will see how I can be helping President Edgar Lungu to make sure that he retains power.
Can we safely say you had a meeting with Chris, you had intentions of standing as a president?
Yes.
Will I be wrong if I say you wanted to contest or to stand as a president so that you split votes?
I didn't want to split votes, but of course, that was a concern that was brought. That was a concern that was brought that I might split votes. And, I tried to talk even with other people, and they were saying, look, much as you look simple, or you are trying to look like so simple that, you will not get so much votes, you have a following. You have an influence. And some people might actually just go for you. And they were telling me to say, even if you get 50,000 votes, that will be too much for you, And who
are those who are telling you?
Well, you don't have to mention all sinners. Sometimes it's enough to say, the substance than individuals. But yes, this concern came up. And I was not very comfortable because I was being pushed not to contest and instead just campaign for President Edgar Lungu and get an appointment after. But I was not comfortable with an appointment, a presidential appointment. I want the people of Zambia to know that I have never sought for a presidential appointment. Why I've never sought for a presidential appointment? Because it completely takes away your freedom. You can't criticize. When the president appoints you, how are you going to point out wrong things when he has appointed you? He'll just fire you. And I know that President Edgar Lungu is not innocent, is not perfect. Once in a while, he would do something wrong, and I would want to express myself. But because I'm appointed, I would not be able to criticize. So I was not comfortable with that. And somehow that meeting or that discussion stalled. And what hit me next was an arrest.
You also talked about people surrounding the president. And President Edgar Lungu has got wrong people that are surrounding him. Wrong people that are giving him rumors, and President Edgar Lungu act on rumors.
Yeah.
Is Chris one of those surrounding the president and giving the president rumors and verified information and reports?
Is the chief presidential rumor monger. Chris Zumanzimba is the chief presidential rumor monger. And it's a pity that since he came in that office, and I'm saying this in all honesty, since he came in that office, I think he has propelled more division and hatred than bringing people closer to President Edgar Lungu. A number of people have been labeled, have been painted black. Where he gets that information, I don't know. But he gets that information and he will speak to you, he will tell you this person, that. Of course, You would give him respect by the fact that, you know, he's in that office and he's privileged to be receiving certain informations. But when you go on the ground, like among so many people that Chris Zumanizimba pointed to say, this one is doing this, this one is doing this, I've not come across one who actually was doing what Chris has been saying. And with what has happened to me, I strongly believe that a lot of lies have been fed to President Edgar Lungu. And he's believing this. He believes this. But
is Chris the right man for that job, of a political advisor to the president? Now that is, according to you, is a chief rumor monger.
Is far below what I would expect of a presidential advisor. Is far below. And I don't want to, I'm not saying this because others would look at this like it's a personal issue. No, no, no. It's not. You know, it's not. Being a presidential advisor, the number one thing that one should have is boldness. You should be bold. You are an advisor. So as an advisor, sometimes you need to confront your boss. So boss, I think this is not like that or whatever. You need to be bold. Chris is not bold. He is not bold. He's too, I mean, you need to be submissive, of course, and subservient to your leader. That's for sure. But you need to be bold. You must have some courage. You know, but no, 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 no. The man doesn't have it. The other thing is that politics, you need to understand politics itself. And understanding politics, by the fact you can have a PhD in political science. Trust me, on the ground it's another issue. I always give example of Bowman. Bowman is of a humble educational background. But that guy knows politics. That guy knows politics. Chris Zumanizimba is highly academic and theoretic. But politics, my friend, when you are in that position, you need to be very, very practical. Very practical. You have to be pragmatic. You have to be strategic. And you have
all these things are missing in Chris.
Not that all these things are missing. He has them up to a certain extent. He has them up to a certain extent.
Are you saying these things as you mean them, or one may just say, President Tayali Chimbuya?
No, no, no.
With Chris?
No, this is my opinion after interacting with a man. And I am warning myself that I'm just coming from the cells and I could be bitter. But if President Edgar Lungu, for example, is the one that is sitting here and he asked me to substantiate these things, I would give him the cases in point. Like to say, look, Vakateka, this is what happened and this is what we did. But look where it took us. And but I can't do that now, but I can give you an example of just myself. Whatever happened, this was a wrong political move. A very wrong political move. Why? One, this is the person that who is so useful. I believe I'm useful. So this is the person that is so useful. And even if he has done something wrong, on a political level, you'll be like, we need to handle this guy properly. That is number one. Number two, my friend, we are in the season of politics. This is the high season of politics. And in the high season of politics, my friend, you don't create enemies. You just don't create enemies. You do everything in your powers to keep all the friends that you can get. Even your enemies, if you can have them during the time of elections, you would have them.
Are you trying to say, because you said you expected to be treated differently because you are useful, according to your statement, are you trying to suggest that we should have some people that are going to be treated more equal, even if they have committed something wrong, but because they are useful, then this one treat him different, but this one, I think, is it what you're trying to suggest?
Not at all. Not at all. Not to say the law should be applied selectively. No, I'm not implying that. But I'm talking about politics because we are discussing the office of a political advisor. And to be honest, in politics, like I'm saying, in politics, sometimes you have to cut corners for the sake of politics. This is a reality. We can come here and pretend before cameras. We can come here and pretend before cameras, but it is a reality. It is a reality that politics. I am one of those people who holds a view that politics comes first before the law. I hold that view that politics comes first before the law. A lot of people would argue that and would not agree with me. But the reality is just that. Politics come before the law.
Let me take you to something that you posted. That was on Friday. You said, because President Lungu was very humble and meek, God gave him power. But that he has changed. He has tasted power and is obsessed with it. Worst of all, he is surrounded by cowards who can't face him and tell him that actually he is not even eligible for 2021 elections. Zambia was shocked to hear that EEP president, the person that has been defending President Edgar Lungu, is saying now that we are in an election year, campaigns have started, then President Tayali comes to Zambians and tell them right in their faces that this man who is a president is not eligible to contest. And the people that are surrounding the president know the fact that President Edgar Lungu is not eligible, but they are cowards.
Yes. I still hold to that statement. People, I will start from the top by saying President Edgar Lungu is not eligible. Is not eligible. And I know people out there who judge me to say, but you knew, and so on and so forth, and blah, blah, and blah, blah. I'm just from saying politics comes first before the law. President Edgar Lungu is not eligible to contest for this election. And John Sangwa, if he goes to court, if he argues his case right, I don't see President Edgar Lungu on the ballot. If indeed the judges also will be courageous. And it's very simple. My explanation is very simple. I'm not even trying to be legalistic, whatever. The law, Baba, is written for all of us. All of us, we need to understand the law. That law, you will not go to court and say, no, I didn't understand the law because I'm not a lawyer. You need to read the law and understand it. And my simple understanding of the law in relation to President Edgar Lungu's eligibility is that President Edgar Lungu became president in the last constitution. Lawyers will talk about amendment whatever, number whatever, now whatever. But anyway, for us laymen, let me just say, he came in a constitution that we just amended. And that constitution which we amended had the terms and conditions for a president. It had the terms and conditions for the president. And the terms and conditions for the president were very simple. Is that you can only hold office twice. And that twice, it did not go in details to say how many years and so it didn't. In as far as holding office, it just said twice, finish. Meaning, be it you enter into office for 2 days, you have held office. Once you have sworn, you have been sworn in, you are president, you are declared president. Then tomorrow, something happened, whether you resign or anything, you cannot go back and say, I didn't hold office because I was only there for 2 days. That is that constitution which we are talking about, the old constitution. So the moment President Edgar Lungu was sworn in that old constitution, I think it was it on the 15th January or something like that. That day, President Edgar Lungu held office. The issue of a term, this issue that we are discussing, a term and whatever, that is in the new constitution. As far as the time that President Edgar Lungu entered, that's it. That's it. He held office. And there is no negotiations to say, no, he was there for 2. He held office kwasila. So that is supposed to be counted as done and dusted.
It is a term.
It's a term. It's one. If you want to put it as a term, whatever, it's done. There is no negotiations there. There is no 3 years. Forget it. The 3 years comes in terms of benefits. Who should get the benefits? But in terms of holding office, it doesn't matter. You could be there 1 hour. You have held office. That's it. So, since we are already counting, so that term, we are already counting. Then he was elected in 2016. We have counted 2. Finish.
Do you realize that you are talking about, the person you are referring to is a qualified lawyer? And he has got a team of lawyers.
Yes.
Past government chief whip.
Yes.
In charge of legal.
Yes.
His deputy.
Yes.
He is also a lawyer.
Yes.
And these people have said, according to what we've read, we cannot risk. We know that President Edgar Lungu is eligible.
2 operative words: obsession for power and cowardice. The president himself, he has tasted power. President Edgar Lungu is not the Edgar Lungu that we had before he became president. I remember him very well on one of the public television, really saying, me, I don't even want to become president. I'm not even, I can't manage it. I'm not interested. When Michael Chilufya died, Guy Scott followed him and said, no, I need to grab this power in spite of you being the one who had been left to act. The president is gone. I'm supposed to be the president. He just gave it away and walked away. It's cadres that followed him in the street and brought him, wakateka, tamachringo kupela, those instruments of powers. He said, no, he didn't. He was meek. He was humble. And I was one of those people who were at Kabwe, because I've been with PF longer than people would understand. I was there when Tutu Nguluve declared him as president and he went and won that election, which I consider as a full term. The moment he entered there, I saw Ingram State House, abakalamba bandi my father, abapongoshi ba Edgar Lungu, bamvera kunzuna kwa power. He made sure that 2016, he won it. He has been in State House and he's enjoying. And now, it's at all cost, I must retain power. Yes, he's a lawyer and he knows that he doesn't qualify. But he's obsessed with power. He wants it. That's why he's crushing everyone who seems to, pose a little bit of a threat or a question around that area. He knows. What about the people around him? The lawyers that you're talking about, including the PF members? I can tell you that a number of PF members, senior PF members, they know. They know. Not just lawyers, but senior PF members, they know. Do they have the guts to face President Edgar Lungu? Who is that one? Who can say that? Who can face President Edgar Lungu over that? Who can face President Edgar Lungu over that? What President Edgar Lungu says goes. People have stopped thinking MUPF. It's what the president says. It's what the president says.
This is Saturday's edition of the special assignment, and my guest is Economic and Equity Party (EEP) leader, President Chilufya Tayali. You've encouraged State Counsel John Sangwa to continue with the path of petitioning the nomination of President Edgar Lungu. And here you've said if he's going to argue his case properly, you don't see President Edgar Lungu on the ballot. Why can't you take up this challenge yourself and prepare documents so that you challenge this person who does not qualify?
Because you know, you're saying if he argues well. I also added if the judges would also be courageous,
yes,
because they also have to be courageous. I know what happened in 2016, and I want to tell the bench.
Which bench?
The bench that
the constitutional
that was sitting in the presidential petition. I want to tell them that I know what happened in 2016. I know what happened in 2016. And this is why, when I say if they will have the courage, it is out of what I know about 2016 that I say that. So, if they will be courageous, I don't think they will look at it any other way. Because, let's put it this way, my brother. If, for example, I employ you, employed to say, today you'll be, here is your contract, and you will get 30,000 kwacha at the end of the day. Tonight, because you are interviewing Chilufya Tayali, your contract, you will get 30,000 kwacha. And you will not, but you will still come back tomorrow for work, in spite of you knocking off late. And you sign that contract, because these are the terms and conditions that your job is giving. Then, tomorrow, whilst you are working, you know, another person, because when I'm going out after this, I mean, somebody from PF might say, even me, I want to appear, because Chilufya Tayali said this. I want to appear. And then they say, okay, so since you interviewed Tayali, we will get another person to interview this person, just as I'm leaving. But this person will give him 50,000, and tomorrow he will not work. Can you, who has a contract which clearly stipulated that you are going to get 30,000 kwacha at the end of the day, and tomorrow you come for work, and then this person who is going to interview the next person, they say, no, we'll give him 50,000 kwacha, and tomorrow you will not work? Can you say, no, even me, I should get 50,000 kwacha, and tomorrow I should not come? You can't. Because the contract which you have signed at this point in time, this is what it is saying. The contract that President Edgar Lungu signed when he walked in, it is that of 2015, before the new one. Yes. That is the one that he signed on. So he cannot argue to say, no. We have to look at the term. Whatever. Was it 3 months? No, it was 18 months. Your term doesn't say that. Your terms and conditions, when you are being employed, it does not talk about 18 months, 3 months. It just says, once you are sworn in, kwasila. So those who are coming, the one who come tomorrow, is the one that can enjoy those new facilities. So in other words, if President Edgar Lungu, God forbid, I love him, he dies, Vainonge is the one that can start talking about the term, to say, when I came in, it was only 3 months remaining. So I need, now there is a new constitution. But in the constitution that when President Edgar Lungu entered, it doesn't. So in this simple understanding, and I don't think there is any other way we can look at it. Because the other way I would put it is this. Suppose, let's just imagine, suppose Sata came back. You know, he is dead. He died 2 years into whatever, you know. Suppose he came back. Would he come back and say, you know, I'm going to I'm going to stand because I didn't finish. He can't. He held the term finish. You cannot apply the law. I don't want to sound technical, retrospectively. Fear repeater. Va arabite chibabwelelero to say, no, I served the one term, ijamene monga ijamene ninachita ijamene nasiriza ya mwana wasa sina kwanire. So I need another term, kutinisirize. He can't do that because that's what the law stipulated at that time. So clearly there is no two way about this. He doesn't qualify. He is not eligible.
Now that you know, my question still stands. Why can't you take up this challenge of petitioning President Edgar Lungu to say you don't qualify based on what you now understand?
It's not easy to make a petition. I mean, first of all, just to prepare a petition, it's not straight. You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer. I don't have the money to do that. And then really, like I said, for me, I don't mind President Edgar Lungu coming back. For me.
Even if he doesn't qualify?
It's the law. The law is made for people. The law is made for people, not people for the law. For example, I asked myself this moral question. Suppose I have two people. This one is a bad guy. He's a bad guy, but he qualifies to, the law allows him to be president. This one is a good man. He's a good man, but the law doesn't allow him to be president. Should I go for a bad man just because
he qualifies?
He qualifies according to the law? No. According to my moral standing.
You go for a good guy who doesn't qualify.
I would rather go for a good guy. I would rather go for a good guy, even if he doesn't qualify, even if the law doesn't allow him to stand. This is me. And this is the moral judgment, a moral decision I made. I asked myself, Chilufya Tayali, what are you going to do about this? You know Edgar Lungu doesn't qualify. What are you going to do? I looked at Edgar Lungu. Edgar Lungu is a good man. And I look around, I think he is the best person.
So why are you bringing up this debate or this discussion of President Edgar Lungu not qualifying? Because according to you, President Edgar Lungu is a good man. He's a good guy.
Yes.
And you want him to continue. You wish him to continue.
Yes.
Why are you bringing it out? What is it that you want people to know or to
understand? Very good question. Obsession. All of a sudden he has become obsessed for power. If he was being as humble as he used to be, I would be very happy to let him continue. But he has become obsessed. He has become desperate. He's showing desperation for power. And I'm wondering, what's going on here? Where is my good man, President Edgar Lungu? Where is he? This is not the President Edgar Lungu I have been vouching my life for. There is desperation here. And it is clearly signed by the way I was treated. If a person that he has been defending can be treated like that, what about the Sejanis that you are talking about? What about all these others? And let's face it. Even Hakainde Hichilema, some of these issues that they have been throwing around him, they are clearly politically motivated. And you know, yes, I've been one of those people that has been playing this. No, but for me, I can tell you, in everything that I participated, I can tell you clearly why I participated. For example, the issue of the Felunas. I still stand because I strongly believe that poor people should not be deprived of their property. And my participation in that is as far as just to make sure that those people get their land, if indeed their land was stolen. But politics has come to beset all that agenda. When we started that agenda, it was about the Felunas getting their land, helping poor people getting their land. But unfortunately, my friends have swung into, it is all a political ploy now. It is nothing about the Felunas, and that is why the Felunas got lost, slipped through the hands of the PF. because for them, they didn't care for the Felunas.
So your fight was not politically motivated?
No, it was for the Felunas. I was actually very disappointed when I heard that the Felunas have disappeared. I was very disappointed because it was agreed that these people would be helped to get the land. But unfortunately, they were taken as political pawns. And now, even now as we speak, those two people, a mother and a father, are still being looked at as political, pawns, which is very unfortunate. It is no longer about the land. It's about the politics. And that I don't agree. And this I've told the people that were in charge, I've told them, this is very wrong. I have said it. In no uncertain terms, I said it, this is wrong.
I know that time is not with us, but let me just squeeze in this question. You pledged that you will pursue the outgoing Minister of Education, Dr. Brian Mshimba, over the speed traps, scandal for the Road and Safety Agency, RTSA, in which the minister benefited while at the Minister of Transport and Communication. Any response of further pursuing this now that is not a minister? You said I cannot touch him now because he's a minister. Now that is no longer a minister and he hasn't been readopted. Do you have plans of pursuing this, or now it's the dead issue?
I thank the PF for not adopting Brian Mshimba. And I was insisting, I was talking about this wherever I had an opportunity. And I want to thank all those that pledged that indeed they will not bring him back. Because he's one of those people that I strongly, spoke even to President Edgar Lungu. But of course, I want to, this one, I'm not faltering President Edgar Lungu. He looked at the time to say that we are already going into the elections, and it's useless. Let him just finish. And indeed, true to what was discussed, Brian Mshimba has been left out. Am I going to the the anti-corruption and everything? Let me put my things together. Mostly the only thing that is keeping Brian Mshimba out, it's my source. My source, if my source will have the courage to stand in court, because you can have the evidence, but you need somebody to stand in court and say, yes, this is what exactly happened. If I am trying to convince my source, I've not spoken to him yet. If my source agrees to stand in court, Brian Mshimba's days are numbered.
Finally, Mr. President, you want to stand as a mayor,
yes,
of the greater city of Lusaka. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it? Why do you want to be mayor of the city of Lusaka?
Well, first and foremost, it is a test ground for me, because what I'm aspiring for is presidency. But to be given a smaller portion to manage, to lead, I think it will give me a good opportunity, a good experience. That is the first thing. So I'm appealing to the Lusaka residents to give me that opportunity for me to manage at that level before I go to the higher level. That is the first thing. Now, what am I going to give to the Lusaka residents? I am very clear in my mind, and I'm very consistent on some of the things that I fight. The number one thing that I fight, my friend, is corruption, transparency. I can assure you that the moment Chilufya will enter into that civic center, Lusaka Civic Center, I can assure you that corruption will run like cockroaches out of the cupboards. I will fight corruption. There is so much corruption. There is corruption, for example, in the the companies that are contracted to offer delivery, to offer some services to the residents of Lusaka, collecting garbage, and the markets, the bus stations, and everything. I want to fight that corruption. And I'm telling everybody who is involved that the day that I get in there, I will fight corruption and I will bring transparency. I want the Lusaka people to know how much money does the council make in a year. How much money does the council make? Where does this money go? They will know because they are the owners of the city council. Then number two, I want to bring in sanity. I want discipline. I am going to run with these cadres that are in the bus stations. I'm going to run with these cadres that are in the markets. I will restore the ownership of the bus stations and the markets to the city council, to the people of Lusaka. This I will do. And I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that all these properties get back into the hands of the people, the owners. Then number three, I want to make sure that we bring some development. It is a long haul, but we can do certain things. For example, when you talk about in the compounds, I mean, it's not a good environment under which many of our Lusaka residents are living in. If you go in these compounds, the way people are living, it is very bad. During the time of floods, when it is raining, look at what happens. There must be a solution to that. They are not drinking good water in just Pachanyap. Marapodi. I mean, I went there. The water that they are drinking, it's just something else. So we can change that. The other thing that I am looking at, it's equity. We need to create jobs. The city council is supposed to create jobs. But people are losing jobs. There is a lot that can be done, that needs to be done in Lusaka, and the city council can create employment. I am going to create employment.
President Chilufya Tayali of the Economic and Equity Party, thank you so much for making an appearance on this special assignment, and wishing you all the best as you stand as a mayor candidate in the city of Lusaka.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to give me this opportunity, to air out my views on some of these things that have been happening. And I pray that the people of Lusaka will give me an opportunity to be mayor just for this time between now and 2026. And I'm sure they will be happy they voted for me.
To you, my friend, Chilufya Tayali, why are you allowing PF to use you like tissue paper when you know that they will just use you and throw you away just like that? The case you are pursuing with Akainde-Hichilema is not your level. They are level to these things. That guy is as clean as water. The case that we are opening today has been there. It was there during the time of Manawasa. An intellectual like Manawasa couldn't do anything. It was there during the time of Rupia Banda. An intellectual like Rupia Banda with big guys with brains in UPND then, they couldn't do anything. It was there during the time of Sata. They were intellectuals, people like KBF, Nchitos, mention them, many of them. They couldn't do anything because they searched this guy, they couldn't find anything. It is today that you wake up and decide to take Akainde-Hichilema to ACC. There was even ACC then, not now that ACC has been taken over by stupid cadres who are scared of even a passing fly, passing mosquito. They are scared of everything. There is no intellectual in ACC. Those guys are just some useless bunch of things that are seated there getting salary for nothing. You took case to them. A simple case like Chilufya Chitalo, they couldn't handle it. Simple cases like Chitotela, they couldn't handle it. How are they going to handle the case of Akainde-Hichilema? That guy is not your level. I want to advise you as a friend to stay away from this. Don't allow PF to use you.
If you are joining me for the first time, please remember to click subscription button and hit that notification bell to be the first person to receive the video that will be produced by Davi-tech-media. Davi-tech-media, updating you. Davi-tech-media, subscribe to Davi-tech-media. Davi-tech-media, subscribe to Davi-tech-media.